What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of the Road to Glory. We have got for you guys today a whole bunch of FUT Champs games. I played 10 games in total, one of them of course yesterday, and then we're going to have 7 today. I've been having lots of issues with my recordings, my streaming, so 2 of the games basically crashed and corrupt and I can't show them to you here today. So we've got 7 of the other games. In terms of how well it's going, it's better than expected. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. In fact, we'll talk about that a little bit when we get into the gameplay. I've got 2 things or 3 things to show you for today, guys. First thing I want to show you is the huge upgrade that we made, and that is the fact that we purchased Leroy Sané, 227,000 coins. Probably thinking, how did you get there? I'm going to show you that throughout the course of today's video. Basically, I sold most of my golds. If we now go to quick sell low to high, I sold a lot of the informs. I only have 4 special cards left and that Thorgan Hazard, and I sold a few of my 84s and 187 that I had, and then just basically all of my 82s. As you can see, there's no rare golds left, there's no common golds left. Like basically all my golds are gone. Sold some position modifiers. You'll see it all throughout the course of the video. And we managed to pick up Leroy Sané. You'll also notice that I've got Zinchenko in the midfield. He's there for one sole purpose, to give a strong link to Sané and a soft link to Pepe. That's all I need. And so I know I could put Gundogan there and get full chemistry on Gundogan. However, the way that I line up in game is I'm back in the 4-2-3-1 as well. It feels good. And I know I'm dropped back 1 depth. We've got some discussion points about that today as well. So I'm not going to talk about that right now. But this is how my team lines up. Lacazette out front, Pepe in at cam, Leroy Sané at left mid, Vidal and Allen in at CDM, then Zinchenko starts at right wing, and then our back line obviously is as it is. And then off the bench, I can either throw on for Zinchenko from kickoff, Costa, Callejon, Inaki Williams, or Quincy Promes. So we did his ones to watch SBC. It's only like 35k coins. I think it's good value for a card that is almost definitely going to get a whole bunch of upgrades this year. Potential for having a team of the knockout stage, team of the group stage, because he's doing well for Ajax in Champions League. He's banging in goals in the league for them. He's a quality player in a quality team. And so he's almost definitely going to end up hitting some upgrades here or there. So I've been subbing him on 5-star skill moves as well, which I like a lot. And that's how the team looks. The other thing I want to show you about today, guys, is how that you can see how many games you've got left. So as you guys can see, I'm on 8 wins. So I'm 8-2. Which I'm delighted with. As I say, we'll get into discussing more about my expectancies and how things are going in a brief minute. What I will say as well is that of the 2 that I lost, they were absolutely winnable games. Now, I'm not going to get back into last year where I'm like, oh, I should have won that game. They're just games that I absolutely could have won. I've just got to perfect and figure out a few other little things here or there. And then I will be able to turn those losses into wins into future weeks. So I could be potentially 10-0 right now. I'm 8-2, which I am genuinely delighted with. Just so you guys know, though, you can see how many games you got left. If you press triangle, when you go to this screen right here, just press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox. And on the schedule, it shows you how many matches you have remaining. So I have 20 matches remaining. I've got a lot to get through, that's for sure. It's going to be a bit of a busy weekend for me because I've got some other stuff going on outside of YouTube and whatnot. But yeah, we've got 8-2 off of our first 10. We've got 20 games remaining. We're now going to get into some of the gameplay, some SBCs, some purchasing of some huge upgrades. Obviously, Leroy Sané being that huge upgrade for today's video. And he is really a huge upgrade. In his first 2 games, he's been delightful. 2 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. And one of the games was, I think, a really quick 2-0 rage quit. So he didn't really have to get involved all that much. But yeah, we're going to get into the gameplay now, guys, and talk about expectancies for this weekend league and why even at 8-2, I still don't even care if I finish in gold 2. So I will be right back. All right, guys. So as we get into the gameplay, to carry on from what we were just talking about with regards to my abilities and where I'm finishing in FUT Champs, frustratingly, I've already recorded this once today. I've been having so many issues with everything. So you have to forgive me for today's video, guys, if it just seems a little bit out of whack. But so yeah, basically, I was like, you know, I didn't know where I was going to finish this weekend. I was nervous in some parts and I was excited in some parts. You know, some games I was playing, I was thinking I'm going to do great this weekend. Some games I was playing, I was thinking I was going to do bad this weekend. The YouTubers I've been watching play already. So I've been watching Bateson play, and he was 10-0 with his sick pay-to-win squad. And after Saturday's games, he's 15-5. And then Nick was 9-1 on his pay-to-win account and 5-3 on his Road to Glory account. And I'm just going to get his record up again right now. So now he's 10-2 on his pay-to-win account and 5-3 on his Road to Glory account. And the reason why I kind of reference those is because it makes me feel good that even though I want a Road to Glory and my squad is okay, it makes me feel good that I'm at 8-2 competing to a degree with the pay-to-win accounts and players that are also very, very good. And so from this point onwards for the rest of this weekend, I almost have like some pressure off of me because I you know, at this stage I'm almost definitely going to hit gold 2, 17 wins. God forbid if I fall apart and go 17-13, that'd be quite sad. But I'm on a good position to hit gold 1, you know. But even if I did finish gold 2, I'd be happy with that because if Bateson's 15-5, even if he wins his last 10 games in day 3, which he may well do, you know, he's a quality player. He'll be 25-5. He'll be an Elite 2 player with that team. If he even loses a couple more games and he's an Elite 3, the fact that I can get close to that with the team that I've got is good. What it also means, though, what it also kind of like looks to be suggesting is that the higher the form, obviously similar to last year, the harder it will get. But obviously, as you go higher form now, you're coming up against usually people that have better teams. So 8-2 on +6. Once I start getting to +8 or +10, if I get there, of course, I'm likely to come up against more pay-to-win teams. I haven't really come up against any incredible teams yet so far. So I'm excited for this weekend league. After coming in quite nervous, you know, I was honestly sitting there thinking, man, I might be 5-5 after 10 games. Like it might be like that. It might be one of those weekends, you know. And again, to get gold 2, 17-13, that's only a +4 form. I'm already playing at +6 and making people like dominating people at +6 form. So I should realistically get gold 2 as a bare minimum this weekend. Gold 1 is definitely my target for this weekend. But it was it's a relief seeing the results of other people so far and seeing the fact that I have got a decent enough record, especially given the fact that the 2 losses could quite comfortably have been victories maybe on another weekend. But we have got some comments, guys. Now, I have already discussed these comments once, as I said. I recorded all of this. I've had so many problems with my PC and streaming and stuff recently that I've been working through them to set it all up again. And in the meantime, I've created more problems for myself, and I'm trying to like put out fires that I'm creating one after the other. I think I've finally resolved all my issues, so that's obviously a good thing. So Bonus Exeters says, it feels like because people are defending with jockey instead of tackling, anytime your attacker gets knocked down, it's not a foul. Same thing as off-the-ball fouls not being a thing. And there is definitely something wrong with referees, you know, with the way that, like, there are so many times I'd like break into the box, a defender trips the player, clips their ankles, they don't go down. Sometimes they even do go down, but more often than not, they don't go down. You lose possession of the ball and no penalties given. And it's one of those ones where you look at that and you think, oh, if that was outside the box, that would be given as a foul. But it doesn't get given as a foul outside of the box either. So many occasions, I'll just be running down the wing. A guy would just trip me over. I'll lose the ball, and then that's play on. It works in my favor as well, of course, as it works in your guys' favor as well, of course. But yes, it's very frustrating in that manner that happens, and I hope it's something that EA address in a very near future patch, because the refereeing decisions at times are horrific. So yeah, something that I hope that they work on. 12 hours ago, what a name, says, what is the reason for having 2 accounts? Well, I have a Road to Glory account, which is where I spend most of my time on, which is this account that you're watching right now, where I don't spend any money or any FIFA points, and I just show people what you can achieve with nothing but time, which in some regards is a more valuable commodity than money, but it's just to show what you can do. And I was just talking to Toby about some of the guys that I follow on Twitter that have millions of coins already without spending money, and it's so easy to make coins this year, and I might engage in a little bit of mass buying with potential of rise. So for example, Sarabia ones to watch was 10,000 coins flat on the nose. He scored for PSG today. He's already up at 15,000 coins. Now, I don't have any coins right now, right? But if you did have 1,000,000 coins and you bought 1,000,000 coins worth of Sarabias at 10k and sold them all at 15k currently, you would have had 1.5 million before tax. So you would have had what? So 1.425 million, right? So you would have made 425k profit in a couple hours. I want to do that this year. I want to make sure that on this account, I've got every player towards the back end of the game. No excuses. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I can't get Team of the Ronaldo, or I can't get Prime Moments R9, or I can't get Prime Moments Hullet. No, I'm gonna figure out a way to do what it takes this year to make sure I trade and grind and craft to get everything, right? So one of the reasons for having this account is to show people what you can do with not spending any money. The other account is a pay-to-win account where I buy FIFA points, and it's more for producing content. So it's what I produce videos for on the main channel, and you know, I'll spend loads of FIFA points on promo packs. I'll do every SBC within reason that comes out. There's some that I won't do towards the back end of the year that are just truly bad value for money. But at the start of the year, pretty much every SBC will be completed, whether it's good value for money or not, because doing it for the content. And that's, for me, why I have 2 accounts. John Vick says, you don't need to play 1 depth drop back. Last year, I played pressure on heavy touch and 4 depth, so I tried it again this year, but my players kept getting caught out up the pitch as they would dive in. I changed to just balance and 4 depth, and they stay in their positions and don't overcommit. And in terms of the whole 1 depth drop back debacle, we've got another comment on it as well. But in terms of the whole 1 depth drop back debacle, you're right, you don't need to play it. And there definitely is this kind of mentality of you have to play it to succeed. But the way I am on 1 depth drop back in these games, fair to say, right? I put it in there because I struggle defensively. But even though I'm on 1 depth drop back, I still concede almost 90% of my goals from counterattacks, right? It's very, very rare that somebody just outplays me. It's very rare that somebody just holds possession against me, builds up and scores a goal, right? You'll see it from time to time. But yeah, most of the goals I concede is me losing possession in the attacking third, getting countered and conceding a goal. And the reason why I still concede a lot of counterattacks on 1 depth drop back is because I'm super aggressive. I'll use second man press way too much, especially now that they've nerfed it. I've really got to get out of the habit of using second man press. I use I press manually just way too aggressively, and if I misread the play, I've put a player out of position. And then I'm just super aggressive in defense anyway. And one of the issues I have is that even though I'm on 1 depth drop back, it takes me so long to build up, right? When I build up the play, and again, this is something I need to work on, which is just transitioning the play a lot quicker. I build up the play so slowly that right now, even on this clip, you can see my left back is up. Now he's got to the box because of how deep into the box I've got. My whole team is pushed up. So even though my fullbacks are set to stay back while attacking, and I'm on 1 depth, and I'm on drop back, my defenders, specifically my fullbacks, you'll just see them slowly but surely keep walking up the pitch and walking up the pitch. And so when I turn over possession and lose the ball, or, you know, maybe I score, maybe it goes out for a goal kick or a corner, or maybe I turn over the possession. And in occasions when I turn over the possession, in spite of the fact that I am on 1 depth drop back, I'm still in a position where I'm going to get countered. And so what I should be doing is I should be playing balanced, or pressure on heavy touch, or pressure after possession loss. And I should be playing 4 depth or 5 depth or even 7 or 8 depth, right? Just pin people in and keep them pinned in. And if they're going to break on me anyway, let them break on me anyway, and just hope that I can defend with the chances I have. So you absolutely don't need to play 1 depth drop back. You're right. It is just the most comfortable because of how overpowered it can be. And again, especially in those games where, like, in those games where I will be against somebody who is a good player and they are holding a lot of possession, that's when, for me, 1 depth drop back will prove more effective than less effective. So if I'm playing against somebody that I'm better than, I should immediately switch to a tactic that isn't 1 depth drop back. I should immediately switch to a tactic that is high press, maybe even constant pressure, high depth, very attacking, because they're not good enough to win the ball back. They're not good enough to tackle the ball. So I want to overwhelm them with an offense. And then when I'm up against somebody who's good, then it's best to play 1 depth drop back, because then I get the luxuries and the benefits of not really having to do much work, but having a counter attack constantly. So that, again, is on me to decide in which particular game is the right game to play with 1 depth drop back, and which particular game is the wrong game to play with 1 depth drop back. But you're absolutely right. You don't need to play with 1 depth drop back. And typically, like 2 of the games that I lost over this weekend league, I may potentially have won those games had I not played 1 depth drop back, because all I'm doing is inviting these players to counter me because of the way I aggressively attack. And it might have been better if I was just going all out, going gung ho. So yeah, you are right. And then the other comment about it was from Faris Lugisic. He says, you literally play the way you complain how other people play. You just pass around for 10 minutes. Now, I said this when I recorded the first time. I'll say it again. I want to nip this in the butt early on in the series. When I'm doing a live game, right, live commenting, when I'm talking, I'm not complaining, I'm just referencing. So in the same way as if somebody just kept banging long shots, I would be like, oh, this guy just keeps banging long shots. If they kept spamming skill moves, I'd be like, oh, this guy just keeps spamming skill moves. If all they did was tiki-taka, I'd be like, oh, this guy just keeps tiki-takaing his dick off. If all they were doing was running down the wings and crossing in, I would reference it. I'd be like, oh, guys, this guy just keeps running down the wings and crossing in. That's not me complaining about how they're playing. I'm just referencing how they're playing because it helps me to adapt my game in that game to win the game, right? So if I'm talking to myself, essentially I'm just vocalizing my thoughts, right? And I'm just saying, oh, this guy's on 1 depth drop back. And what that isn't me doing is that isn't me going, oh my God, this guy's on 1 depth drop back. How do people even play like this? How do they enjoy the game like this? I don't understand. This is crap. This guy's terrible. I should be beating it. That's not what I'm saying when I'm saying this guy's on 1 depth drop back. What I'm saying is, for my own mentality, I'm saying this guy's on 1 depth drop back. Let me try and figure out now how to beat him on that. It's not always about complaining. It's literally like vocalizing to fill the empty void of me just sitting there playing the game and you just sitting there going, well, this is pretty boring. All he's doing is playing in silence. So I talk about the things that come into my mind as they come into my mind. And that's not always a complaint. People are absolutely entitled to play the way they wish to play in FIFA. I don't have any problems. I used to get angry at people in FIFA. I used to get angry at the way people played. Even as early as FIFA 11 and FIFA 12, I used to get so angry at the way people would play. But it's not the fault of the person that's playing. It's the fault of EA and the way that they've created a game that's so imbalanced in certain degrees. And so we just have to live with it. I'm sure last year, every time I did a scoop volley or an El Tornado cross, people were fuming. I'm sure people were sitting there going, oh my God, this guy just keeps abusing this and abusing. Though you shouldn't be mad with me. You should be mad with EA that they didn't patch it and didn't balance it, right? So, my mentality has shifted over the years. But the stigma of my mentality hasn't. So even though now when I reference things, I'm not necessarily complaining, people will still like, oh, here we go again. Typical NepentheZ complaining about this and complaining about that. That's not necessarily what it is, as I say. So yeah, my mentality on how people are playing the game has definitely changed over the years. And ultimately it's on me to just be better and get better and do better, right? Like, when people go 30-0 every single week, they don't have, like, they can still say about whatever they want, but they're getting the wins. So if I'm sitting there and I'm not winning and I'm complaining or referencing or just even suggesting that somebody's playing in a certain way, it's on me to figure out how to beat it. So we'll hopefully we're going to work on that a lot this year. Every year I go into the game with the hope of becoming an Elite 1 minimum level player. Last year I didn't hit it. FIFA 18 and FIFA 17 I did. Hopefully this year, I don't know if I can hit it. I do feel like I'm not quite at a great level yet. And it will take time because I am using a Road to Glory, of course. But we will get to a point where I'm going to spam rivals more than ever this year. Last year, we stayed in Division 4 on purpose because of the way the reward structure was. And then when they changed the rewards, we stayed in Division 2 on purpose because of the way the reward structure was, to the point where I didn't even play rivals for a long time because playing champs was enough to get me the good Division 2, I think it was Division 2 rank 3 or Division 2 rank 2 rewards just from playing champs. So I didn't even have to play in rivals, right? And then eventually I went up to Division 1, I think just in February or so, I pushed up into Division 1 and then I started playing for that Ultimate Pack, right? It might have been January because I had the Ultimate Packs for Team of the Season from the first time that I was in there. This year, I'm just going to keep playing as much as I can in Rivals. I don't care how many losses I put on my record. I don't care how many times I get beaten by 5 or 8 or 10 goals. I don't care how many pro players or content creators I might lose to on the way. I want to get better at this game. And as I keep preaching to you guys a lot, the best way to get better is to practice and to learn from your mistakes and to play players that are as good as you or better than you and learn from them. Instead of, if they do a free kick technique that you just can't stop, don't be mad at that. Use that as a lesson. Improve off of that. Be like, okay, so he did that and that worked for him. Now you've got 2 things you can learn from. Number 1, how do I stop that next time? How do I, where do I have to position my players, or what do I have to do to create them, to cause them to not be able to have that attacking instance? And number two, how do I do that myself? How do I learn from this? How can I do that so that I can score from it next time and add that to my repertoire, being able to score goals? So, you know, there's definitely like lessons to be learned from every single experience in FIFA. Whether you win or lose, you can take something from the game. And I didn't do that enough last year. And that's why I stagnated around Elite 2 last year, because again, when it comes to stigma, there is a stigma in the community of if you lose, you are bad, right? Doesn't matter who you lose to, how you lose to them, or under what circumstances. If you lose, you're trash, you're bad. Oh my God, you play this game for a living and you lost. How dare you? I'm not going to fall into that trap again this year of caring about what those people have to say about how I'm playing, because that's not going to allow me to get better and break through and improve my gameplay. So I'm just going to sit there. I'm going to spam as many Rivals games as I possibly can. And if I'm just not good enough, it will show, right? If I play 500 Rivals games and I'm still in Division 3 or Division 4, that's just my level, right? And if I just don't have it in me to get better at this game, if I can't crack the game, if I can't understand how the mechanics work, then so be it. But hopefully, I play that many games in Rivals in quick succession in the first 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully, it will give me the abilities and capabilities to break through into Elite, at least Elite in the early stages. And then hopefully, as my team improves, my results will improve as well through FUT champs. So guys, that is going to be the end of the video for today. Like I said, I'm 8-2 after the first 10 games. It's nearly 6 p.m. on Saturday, so that 6 p.m. content drop is hopefully about to come out. God knows what we get from EA today. Maybe another kit SBC, maybe a ball SBC today would be quite fun. But yeah, I've got to spam some games in. I've got a lot to get through because of all these technical issues I've had. Normally, I would have played 5 more games by this time today. I typically like to play 5 in the afternoon, 5 in the evening on each day. So yeah, normally I would have played my 5 games by this time, but I haven't. So I'm going to have to try and cram 10 games into tonight to make sure that I'm on that 10 a day pace. I don't want to leave more than 10 games for Sunday. That would just be hell. But at 8-2, I'm content with where I'm at. Maybe I collapse. Maybe I'm 10-10 in by the end of Saturday's games. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But this is going to be the end of the video for now. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rate, and comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.